Hi, this is Black Krishna or BK from manfowars.com, where I'm promoting polite patriotism to help nice ladies and gents look, talk, and feel great, and teach kids to, and plus to beat online censorship to help us locally discuss and share great online info offline as better people making better people and better places to live. So check out manfowars.com for more on that. And on that, this video is called CONAN, the ultimate warrior, lying, bitchy man, Barbarian, or what is best in life. And this speaks to what's happening now to regular guys, to regular straight guys offline, where they're competitive, they're competing, right? So if you give them something to compete at, they're competitive. And I'm a competitive guy myself. I'm a grown-ass man, average height, average weight, average build. If I'm supposed to beat you, then I'm not going to let you beat me, right? If I'm supposed to beat you, or I'm going to do my damnedest, right? If it's me and I'm playing basketball and I'm against a high school kid or something, and this kid's, younger, stronger, faster, can jump out the gym, or whatever, then I'm going to use my old man game, my old man strength. I'm going to fake him, pump fake him so that he's 3 feet in the air while I light up a cigarette and casually dribble towards the basket and lay it up, right? I'm going to bang him in the post. I'm going to do whatever I can to not let this younger man beat me. I can't let some young kid beat me, right? Now, on a rare occasion, if the kid is, obviously a top-ranked national recruit, and, then he'll win, right? But it's going to be really, really hard for him to beat me, right? Or if I'm playing a smaller guy in basketball, right? And we're really scrapping against each other, right? Like we're really scrapping, right? If the smaller guy's not that good and it's not that much of a competition, then I'm not just going to beat the crap out of some smaller guy for no reason. Then I won't post him up. I'll pull back out. I'll work on my outside shot. I'll work on my handle. I'll try and drive by him. I'm not just going to, take it in the post, back him down, and just drop it in every time. That's not fair, right? But if he's a good baller and a good ball player and he's taking it serious and he seriously wants to beat me, then yeah, I'm not going to let him, right? I'm not going to let a smaller man beat me at basketball. I'm not going to let a less good tennis player beat me at tennis. I'm not going to let I'm not going to let a girl beat me at tennis. Even a girl who's going to school on a college scholarship. I'll junk the game up. I'll do anything stupid. I'll frustrate them. Things like that. I'm not going to let them beat me because I'm a man and I'm going to compete. And I respect this, right? And I've had, bigger guys. I'm average height, 5'10", average weight, 165, reasonably fit, at times, a little softer times, a little harder times, depending on the times that I'm having, whatever, no big deal. It's always a place I can get to, or it's always a place I can leave and have fun with some junk food for a bit if I want to, so who cares? But I remember playing a big 6'5", 200-pound guy, basketball, one-on-one recently, right? And I was going at him as hard as I could, and he respected it. But he's 6'5", he's 200 pounds, he beat me, right? And he, as a bigger, stronger guy, was not going to let a smaller guy beat him at basketball, right? I pushed him. I don't know if I pushed him as hard as he could go, obviously, but I pushed him pretty hard, and he beat me, right? So no big deal, because men are competitive like that, right? We're not going to lose to who we're supposed to. We want to win, right? So what is the current game, right? The current game is to be a weak, lying, bitchy, sketchy man, right? That is the current game that we've been brainwashed to play, right? Where regular straight men, discouraged from talking, want to get looked at instead. So they have to force you to look at them because they've got nothing to look at, and no one to look. There's no natural guy. There's no natural, person for you to look at, If it's a girl, she can relax and she can be appropriately attractive and vulnerable and feminine for her age, for her looks, for the relationship that you have, for the situation you're in, right? I've had 3-year-olds, do it in a cute little way, 13-year-olds pretty, 23-year-olds option to be sexy or feminine or shy or whatever, 33, 43, 50 classy, to mix 83 sweet old lady, right? And it's the same thing, right? Cute little 3-year-old girl, vulnerable, feminine, appropriate, put you both, you smile, happy, right? My 93-year-old grandmother I went to see in India, and she just sat there and she just had a beautiful smile on her face, like, oh, you poor young people have to run around all over the place. I'm just a sweet old lady, and I'm the most fun you'll have all day. And I was like, you got me, Grandma. Just coming near you and sitting near you and trying to talk to you in my broken Indian or Kannada, the South Indian language that I speak a little bit of, trying to talk to you. And she was just smiling and sweet, and I felt so warm, and so, comfortable. And I smiled at her, and I really validated her for being good at being a woman, even though she was like 93 years old, right? Because they can do that normally and naturally with regular straight guys who can appreciate that, right? Who aren't, messed up trying to be a crappy version themselves, right? And so you can always do that, right? With people that can do that. However, with guys acting like lying, bitchy, sketchy men and competing, and they sexually harass each other, they run at each other, they run by each other, they force each other to put up with each other, they bump into each other and try and force you to see them spaz out and spin around in a circle. And hey, how did I do? Don't say anything. I feel guilty and embarrassed. I'll lie and argue, keep bothering you. I'll be even more of a bitch if you call me on being a bitch, right? And so the bigger, stronger ones bully the smaller ones into putting up with and acting like them. And then the girls and kids, they can't act like vulnerable, friendly, attractive people with guys doing this. They have to pretty much do the same thing, because if they're nice, attractive, feminine girls, then guys get jealous, regular straight guys, not gay, not trans, not trying to be feminine, not trying to put on any makeup, but just normal guys, just normal dude, right? Trying to get checked out like a chick, right? So there's no one to look at, nothing to look at. Sexually harass each other, don't want to look at each other. It's been years. They still don't want to look at each other. That's why they have to keep forcing each other to put up with each other and bullying each other into putting up with it. And they've got to jealously harass girls, steal any attention they get. And then that turns into zombies, stealing any attention, trying to bother anybody who's minding their business. If you're just walking, minding your business, you're not spazzing out like a zombie, bothering people. Zombies will run up near you and spaz out and try and force you to put up with them, or they'll bump into you and hope they can trick or force you to put up with them, or they'll hide behind things, sneak around a wall, hide behind a mailbox, just to try and bother anyone who's not a zombie, to bully you into putting up with them. And then you can't really look at them. It's pretty unpleasant, so you have to act like them, and then you turn into a zombie, right? So that's how the biggest, strongest men, the CONAN of the neighborhood, makes everyone the ultimate warrior, lying, bitchy man, barbarian, right? And they make all the girls and kids put up with and act like them, because what are they going to do? Girls are nice, guys get jealous. They can't be a nice girl. Girls are mean, guys get mad. Oh, stupid bitches. TV makes them think they're all full of themselves, blah, 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 blah. So that's what you're left with, right? And so that is the competition. Instead of guys competing to make sure they're cool, other people are cool, no, don't worry, I got this. They compete to bully each other, into putting up with each other. And I remember this years ago. I remember this back in 2011. I was in Ottawa for a year at the time. I first saw this happening on a regular basis, where men would move closer to each other instead of moving away from each other when they're just walking by each other, strangers, without, wanting to ask each other a question or rob each other. First time in history I saw that. Like, why are you guys just moving close to each other? And they were just trying to get attention from each other, but they didn't really want to look at each other. And so they had to kind of force each other to look at each other, and you had to force them to, you had to bother them back in self-defense and blah, blah, blah. I remember being at a Subway sandwich shop, and this is before the guys added more faux girly movements to it, where there was a big old cop, big old Canadian cop in Ottawa, and he was just standing there, and I could tell he wanted me to look at him. He's just looking at me, and he was just, why won't you check me out? Why won't you look at me? And he was just his big old cop forearms, and he was getting redder and looking at me and snorting and getting mad. And I haven't looked at him in years. I haven't looked at him in 10 years, right? And I just, no, I wouldn't look at him. So look away, and he's just like, check me out. He won't say anything because they feel guilty and embarrassed and lie and argue. They can't admit it because of the brainwashing, right? I just wouldn't look at him, right? And he just got madder and madder. But they ultimately respect you. As long as you don't bother them, they don't bother you. It's the most respect you can show each other. So ultimately, they just usually let it slide. Or they're lying bitches begging to be broken who get off and be ignored. And so they just let it slide, right? Or 4 giant fat construction workers. They each weigh 250 pounds each at least. They're all, bumping into each other and trying to force each other to look at each other and giggling, laughing, funny, stupid, embarrassed, don't say anything, and they see me and I'm not, interested. And so they all gang up and they try and squish me, trying to force me to look at them. They all rub up against me and I'm just looking away and looking like this. And they just, how do I get away with this, right? And so that's what guys are currently competing at when it comes to, what they're up to. They're competing to be lion bitchy bullies, right? And on that note, I'm going to take you to a quote from the original movie Conan the Barbarian, not Conan O'Brien, the redheaded talk show host, but Conan the Barbarian. And this is a quote from What is Best in Life, right? And this is where a bunch of warriors in the movie Conan are talking about what is best in life. And it starts off by saying, I'm worried my son won't know what is best in life. As a warrior, you must always pass on to your son what is best in life. What are the right things to do? What is the best thing to do in life, right? And it could be, these days, being a lion, bitchy man, barbarian, and bothering people till they bother you, making it hard to respect and pay attention to each other or communicate well. Why bother when you don't respect each other? And then running around shaking near strangers trying to bother them to make more zombies just like you, right? That's an option, but there's also other options out there. So what is best in life for men out there to pass on to their sons and for their and what is best to make sure that there's a world where their daughters and others can live and be happy, right? That's something that should be on your mind. So here's a clip from YouTube. I looked up Conan the Barbarian, what is best in life, right? And I've even tested this theory. I've yelled this at a bunch of guys doing that, and they get excited, they get embarrassed and excited, and oh my goodness, I'm so embarrassed you called me out on it. But you're such a man worth harassing. Any man putting up with and acting like a lying bitchy bully isn't worth paying attention to or getting attention from. But if you're not, then you definitely are. So they're all confused, they're excited, and they're all confused, and they spaz out even more, and they get embarrassed, and cars hear it, and they drive by even faster because they know what's going on, but no one wants to say or do anything about it. Booga, booga, right? But I've made this joke, in front of public, and I'll get it on film, recently if you want, because I joke about how the guys are acting like this. Conan, the ultimate warrior, lying bitchy man, Canadian barbarian. No one can be more of a lying bitchy man than me. Ha ha ha, I'm the biggest, strongest guy on the block. So I'm going to walk around like a big lying bitchy sketchy peacock and make everyone put up with and act like me. Ha 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 ha. You smaller men, not into being sexually harassed by a big lying bitchy sketchy straight man? I'll bully you into putting up with me until all you can do is act like me. Ha 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 ha. That's what they're up to, right? So it's pretty stupid, pretty pathetic. It's amazing brainwashing, the best in history. And I'll take you to this clip from Conan the Barbarian, what is best in life, and then comment on it to help us get out of this shit, right? Because if you know what I'm talking about, and if you're like, if you're getting your manties in a bunch and your balls are crawling up into your stomach and you want to hit a thumbs down in this video, you want to be like, don't talk anything but that. Just talk about how Jeffrey Epstein, probably didn't kill himself because there was some, yeah, I get it, right? But this is the reason why patriots can't connect with each other in the hood and then connect with everybody else and make sure everyone's informed and empowered, and you vote for better politicians who reflect how you think, and they put in better policies and they give you a better place to live. This is the problem, right? So that's why I'm breaking it down. Anyway, so Conan the Barbarian, what is best in life? Starts off by saying, what am I going to teach my kids? I hope they know. And then the warrior king or whatever asks one of his other warriors, hey, what is best in life? Gives him an answer that's and then says, wrong! Conan, what is best in life? And then Conan gives the ultimate answer to what is best in life.
My fear is that my sons will never understand me. How, Dye? We won again! This is good. But what is best in life? The open steppe. Free thoughts, falcons at your wrist, and the wind in your hair. Wrong! Conan, what is best in life? To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of your women. That is good.
And that is what is best in life, right? It is not whores, falcons, wind in your hair. Wrong! What is best in life? Conan! To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and hear the lamentations of their women. Right, that is what is best in life. Right, that is what is best in life. Right? And so, instead of men competing to be a lying, bitchy man barbarian, you got to compete to be the kind of guy that can crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and hear the lamentations of their women. That means you have to beat the lying, bitchy men barbarians out there. You've got to expose that. You've got to not just go along to get along, sheepish sideways, make each other uncomfortable, right? You've got to stop people where you live. The biggest, strongest, guiltiest son of a bitches out there, the 6'5", 250-pound guys, bullying everyone into putting up with and acting like this, and all the rest, can simply get respect by helping people stop. And if they, the biggest, strongest straight men, stop and stop other men from doing it, then women and children won't do it. And then people will generally be cool, and they'll respect each other, and they'll teach kids to, and we'll be able to communicate well offline, and we'll have a great time. And then anybody who's a bitch, whether it's a straight bitch, man who's a bitch, girl who's a bitch, gay or trans bitch, you just laugh at. You don't let it be so normal and then be so much of a bitch yourself, there's nothing you can do about it, right? And this is also part of being a patriot, and also part of being a nationalist versus globalism. Who are your enemies? Your enemies are the people doing this to you and making it hard for you to do anything about it. And then because you won't do anything about it, it makes it hard for you to do anything else, right? So that's the key, right? That's the key. And it is, if you want to compete at something, you're going to compete at being more and more of a mess and making sure people put up with you and bothering people and feeling sorry for yourself, but nobody cares because you bother people. And you'll just compete more and more, and people will compete more and more to bother each other. The harder it is to pay attention to each other because you're bothering each other, the more you have to bother them, and that makes it hard to do anything else. And so that's the current competition, right? So for men out there, look at the example of Conan. Look at what I'm talking about. Look at this reflected where you live. Look at the history section of manforwars.com to see how it started, how I stopped it a few years ago myself when it wasn't that bad and guys could just look away from each other and ignore it, and the other guys doing it would get embarrassed and stop instead of just... And now it's so normal that people get offended if they can't bother you and make you put up with them, and then until all you can do is bother them back. Right? It's gotten that bad where people actually get really, really mad at you if they can't bother you, as opposed to people getting mad at people who do bother them. And that's how crazy things have gotten in the offline world, especially in more liberal cities like Toronto, though I've seen evidence of this in New York and in England and so on. And this leads to people respecting each other less, more sexual harassment, more sexual assault, more depression, more suicide, and all this shit because people don't move like they got pride. And that's something that we have to take care of, especially as some of the most, the people in charge of making sure where you live is cool and people there are cool. And that is the biggest, strongest, baddest ass straight guys. It's up to you. Who's going to do it? Gay guys? No. Trans guys? No. Girls? No. Kids? No. So who's going to do it? You. You. Who wants to do it? You. How do I know? Tons of HD video proof at manforwars.com. I'm fine. They always treat me the same. Doesn't matter which one it is, because it's all the same brainwashing, and I'm an average height, average weight, average build guy, and I can at least hold it down, and I can prove this is true, like I have done for a few years on HD video to make sure we can act on it whenever we want. And there you have it. So, Black Krishna or BK from manforwars.com. Like, comment, subscribe, share, get in touch with questions to work together, interview requests, or financial support as you'd like. Otherwise, and you can use clips if you'd like. Otherwise, I hope this helps, and I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.